So,
Oh, we're recording
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry,
You
sorry,
said
bro.
you're ready, so I mean,
Yeah, I don't know, but I
and you're
thought you
like,
were gonna do
yeah,
that
I'm
as like an
ready.
intro or something.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, I was ready. I'm ready
Oh, yeah,
now.
yeah. Now you are.
Waiting on
Oh,
you.
okay,
Waiting on
wait.
you.
Oh,
Waiting on
waiting
you.
on you.
Waiting on you.
I'm waiting on you.
I'm waiting for you to do the intro.
Oh, you're waiting on me to do the intro.
Intro.
Welcome to the MattCast. I am Matty Light, joined by my co-host Matty Heavy, and this is the first like special side, not really our podcast talking about the news, like this week in sports.
Mm.
This one's just gonna be a short little one for while we're on vacation.
Even though not a lot of breaking news, but some breaking news has happened.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
and it's only been like 2 days
2 days.
since,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, this so we're recording it
2
on
days.
March
Gonna bring
8th,
back
and this is
2 days.
probably gonna be coming out. What the fuck is that Monday?
No idea.
Oh, memes. That was porn. The 18th, so 10 days from now, this will be coming out.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be like our first one of like the recordings or like small little episodes this week. We have 95% lockdown, one interview for tomorrow,
Hmm.
and then we have
Are you gonna
what?
say who we're interviewing or no? You
Well,
want
we've already said it on the actual episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
well, I'm just yeah. We have one interview locked down for tomorrow for us to record. That'll be coming out probably that Wednesday.
Most likely.
Yeah, and then we're gonna try and get either one more story in for that Thursday or Friday, and then yeah, we'll be fucking stellar. But on this one, we're gonna be covering like special moments in sports for us. So like whether it's watching a sport, something we did in a sport, um, like anything sports related. To like when you say like what's the most memorable thing in your sports experience, what comes to the top of your brain?
Hmm.
And I have mine, but I want to see. You said you kind of had a bunch to go through.
I do have a lot. I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm a very fortunate sports fan that
Hmm.
at a young age, a lot of my favorite sports teams got to win their
Yeah.
championship respectively.
Hmm.
Um, as I've kind of like grown up, it's I still follow one team primarily, but I do enjoy seeing like other teams
Hmm.
win. I'm not a huge dynasty guy, but I don't shit on it when a dynasty comes up and it's like, oh, I'm tired of the same team winning over and over again.
Hmm.
Um, I think just financially, I've had more experiences with like TV moments
Yeah.
opposed to like being live in action just based off of it's hard to get fucking World Series tickets
Hmm.
or go to Super Bowl in
Yeah.
LA or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I got a bunch. I didn't necessarily think about sports moments that I was in, just
Hmm.
because growing up, I didn't do a lot of recreational team sports. It
Hmm.
was just kind of like pickup
Backyard.
games that
Yeah.
we did. Just either because, in like weird circumstances, like whenever I was in middle school, we were in a middle high school. So
Hmm.
not like how here the middle school has their own football team.
Hmm.
Our middle school did not have that.
Yeah.
It was you had to be eighth grade and up.
Hmm.
So what? So for us, it was like last year. No, wait, fuck. Yeah, last year middle school,
Hmm.
and then freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Yeah.
That you could do football there. And then right when I was about to go into eighth grade, we moved
Hmm.
to a different school that did have a middle school football team, but their tryouts were over the summer where I was
Yeah.
still in Quantico. So I missed out on that.
Yeah.
And then when I came here, I didn't do it. I don't know why I didn't do
Hmm.
it. It's one of those things I kind of wish
Yeah.
I could go back and do, but same situation when I came here as a freshman. I came
Because you came just
I
before.
came a little bit before when like signing up for the school, so I
Yeah.
really didn't know anything about
Hmm.
any of the stuff. I didn't realize like how I'll say the word dedicated
Yeah.
our high school was to
The football.
football.
Yeah.
Um, And then, I mean, just kind of when I was like, because I didn't have, I had some friends, but they were very much like not sports people.
Hmm.
So they were like, oh, well, the football team's very like need to know,
Hmm.
they recruit people out of like middle school
Yeah.
and all this and that, and like coaching from other
Yeah.
teams' schools. So I was just like, I don't know, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I was doing ROTC instead,
Hmm.
so I kind of took that
Yeah.
route. Um, but yeah, that I mean that's one of the reasons
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of
Like sports
team,
moments. Yeah.
yeah, team sports moments that like, because I mean there is some that come to my mind. I mean there's, I you could argue that I was the reason a kid got concussed by a tree.
Yeah.
Because when we played football in Quantico, we played, so like our houses were in a U shape, and then right in front of it was like a grass pad,
Yeah.
and they had trees kind of either lining up the
Hmm.
edges or
Yeah. Yeah.
one kid that I was defending smacked right dab in the middle and like knocked himself out unconscious. They literally like we was out for probably a couple hours.
Hmm.
Um, they like, yeah, we called the 911 ambulance
Yeah.
and they took him away. Um, that's just like a
Yeah.
story, but I can just think fondly to that.
Hmm.
And but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been rambling for
No,
a
no, no,
minute.
no. This is what it's here
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So like to kind of bounce off of your like going in. So like I went from a small Catholic school. My graduating class was 14,
Mm,
eighth grade year, going to a public high school.
yeah, that's.
I'd only signed up for basketball and baseball for
Mm,
sports. So I was doing basketball lifting in the morning, like that's what the freshmen had.
mm,
And varsity football had like their skill positions working out at the same time. So like basketball had one side, skill positions had the other side. So like the quarterbacks all had a bench, everybody else. Coach Huffman saw me. He was like, "You play football?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "I don't. I haven't played football in years. I got hurt playing tackle football, pickup football." And mom just kind of freaked out after that. She was like, "Yeah, you're not doing this anymore." And
mm,
it was just like, he was like, "That understands. Like, mom's got to be moms." But it's just like, "What'd you play when you played football?" And I was like, "I was quarterback mostly." And like, "Oh, you're a quarterback." And I was like, "We're looking for a quarterback right now." And I was like,
mm.
and he's like, "After this, after you get done with your lift, come down and throw the ball for a little bit." And like they're having like skills practices and whatnot. And I rolled up down there, and after my lift, I was tossing the ball, and he's like, "Honestly, you give me a couple of years, you could fucking be starting varsity." And I was like,
What age were you? Was
I
freshman?
was 15 going the freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna be turning 16 at the second semester.
Yeah, and you were always pretty tall and like you were what 5'11" probably
I was
freshman year.
6 foot then.
Freshman year?
I'd stayed 6 foot from end of eighth grade all the way till I joined the army. The army shrank me down a half inch.
You
Now I'm at
didn't
5'11.
you didn't grow at all in high school.
I was supposed to. Doctor said I was supposed to be 6'5".
Hmm.
So when I was still growing in eighth grade, I was like, "Fuck yes, I can still get to six
It's
five."
that red 40, dude.
Yeah.
Too much fucking code red Gatorades.
Um. Yeah. So I stopped growing at 6 foot. I was gonna be a giant. Never actually reached what I was predicted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And all my siblings were told they're gonna be over 6 foot, and they all are not even close to 6 foot. So I ended up being the only one.
That
Yeah.
was what was your dad? Was he 6 foot?
He was 5'6".
He's 5'6".
He was 5'7" before the Air
Was
Force.
it like on your mom's side that they have fucking giants? Where did the height come from? The male
There's
games or
like
what?
on my mom's dad's side, there's like one person who's like 6'6".
And that was it. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, you got it.
There's
That
like
guy married into the family
yeah,
too. He's not
probably.
anything
Yeah.
related.
It's just like there's one dude that's tall in my family. And well, no, I have a cousin that's also 6'6".
Hmm.
Um yeah, and he's a giant ginger too.
Mm.
He's he has the same name as me too.
Oh, that's
It's
funny.
fucking yeah. He's a hoot at parties, I'll just say that.
Okay.
Um but my memorable sports moment was Super Bowl 43, Steelers versus Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my dad's house that weekend, um, and I could never watch sports with my dad because he'd get pissed off with the announcers because they're always talking shit on the Steelers. He's like,
Mm.
these assholes, and so he just mute the TV. And I was still at a young age where I was like, I don't care, like I still want to hear the announcers. But now I'm starting
Mm.
to get there, like after years of listening to that abuse of like them talking shit on my favorite team. I'm like, kind of at the same page now. Where it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like,
I mean, it just whenever it comes to like stroking the ego of
yeah,
either like one guy or
yeah.
like one team, it's like, dude.
Well, like, and the Cardinals had Kurt Warner in his last season, and they
Yeah.
had Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And so, like, you had the dude who had fucking the show on turf,
Yeah. Great Sean Turk. Yeah.
and Larry Fitzgerald, who's like only had how many drop passes? Like,
Well, he should be in my so like
probably one of
probably
the
a
best.
controversial. He's okay, 100% the best wide receiver of
Yeah.
our generation.
Yes. I can.
100%.
Yeah.
All time, I mean,
Number two, maybe tied for first.
well, I mean, so I mean, it's just hard to say with because I didn't grow up watching the '80s and the '90s
Yeah.
ball, but I mean, Larry was just fucking
He was something
another
else.
guy.
He
So,
was. Yeah.
and I mean, he stayed on the Cardinals the
Yeah.
entire time
The
too.
entire time.
And like, look how many fucking terrible QBs they had.
Yeah.
So,
And he still performed that well. But yeah, so like he had upstairs and I was downstairs on
mhm.
like TVs, so I could actually listen to it, and I'd have to listen to him like yelling and screaming at the TV. And I was sitting there. The game was going Steelers all the way throughout the first half. Then the Cardinals started making that last second drive at the end of the second quarter, where James Harrison had the famous 100-yard interception return.
Mm.
And me and my dad are freaking out. Like he comes up to the top of the stairs. I'm at the bottom. Like, holy shit! Did you just fucking see that? Like,
Why'd y'all watch it together?
because he likes to mute the thing,
Oh,
mute
you
the
wanted to
TV.
have
Yeah,
it.
I wanted to
Okay.
hear what was going on.
Okay.
Um, and so like that's why we're at two different areas. And we hang out, eat some food during halftime, go back to our individual TVs, and we're watching the game again. And then the Cardinals come back. They have two drives in a row, and like the Steelers are just going three and out, three and out, three and out in the second half. And the Cardinals are now winning. And then it comes down to like the final minute 45 in the fourth quarter, and Ben Roethlisberger just fucking storms down the field with Santonio Holmes. And
Mm.
like now in hindsight,
He was the one that got the Super Bowl
yep,
MVP, right?
yeah. Well, it's because Santonio Holmes literally just went up the bin before that drive and said, "Just throw me the ball.
Mm.
Whatever you do, just throw me the ball."
Mm.
And he was just like, "All right, cool." And he just would look and see what side of the field he's on. He's like, "All right, cool." Do his drop back and just yeet it over somewhere because he knew somewhat of the route.
Fuck it, he's down there somewhere.
Yeah, and he just throw it down there, and he it was just binning Santonio Holmes that whole drive.
Hmm.
And then on the final play, he straight up just told him, "Hey, I'm doing a crossing post route into the corner," and that's where he fucking threw it to, and that's when he got the controversial quote unquote toe tap catch.
I think there's more controversial fucking catches than that
Yeah,
one, but like,
but it's a Super Bowl, so it always
yeah.
makes it. And just thinking back to that memory, and like when I said memorable moments, like there's been other ones that I've been a part of, or like
Mm.
um the Auburn game, where they kicked the missed field goal that he ran back for 109 yards.
Yeah.
That one was semi memorable because it was right after the West Road shootings that happened, and my mom was out Black Friday shopping that day at
Mm.
Walmart, and all she heard was screaming coming from the inner like section. It was a
Mm.
bunch of dads who were out with their wives, were watching the
Oh
game.
no! So they all
Yeah,
fucking
we're freaking
freaking
out
out.
during the game, and I'm at home freaking out, and my mom's like, "Matt, is something going on?" And like with sports, I'm like, "Yeah, mom, like one of the greatest plays I've ever seen just happened in a bowl game." And she goes like, "Okay, that explains why people are screaming at Walmart." I'm like, "Oh yeah, probably." It's
But
just
I
like,
didn't think about the fucking. I wasn't here for the West Road
yeah,
game, but yeah.
yeah. It was a going out shopping after that was like kind of like a
Yeah, that's the one thing that's kind of shitty is like there's so much of that shit that it just like you're just like, oh, there's shooting today.
yeah,
Yeah, like
um, yeah. Like those were two memorable moments. Like I remember watching that play in that season for Auburn. I remember for some reason it was one of the few college games I could get on whatever channel was Auburn games,
mm,
and they were always electric. And I think that was when fuck, what's his name? Superman, Carolina Panthers.
Cam.
Cam Newton
Mm,
was on Auburn that year. I think it was his senior year, and I think they went all the way to BCS Bowl that year, or maybe it was the year before he went to the BCS Bowl.
mm,
But yeah, it was like Cam Newton was electric. The whole season for them was like instant classic. Like every single game for them is just like, yeah, this is a beautiful game. Like I could not imagine like on both sides, you can't be mad with your players.
Mm,
Like they played a hell of a game. These guys played a hell of a game. Like yeah, it was just electric to watch in that whole season. But
yeah.
the Steelers Super Bowl was probably the most memorable for me. Because the first game I remember ever watching was Steelers Seahawks in Super Bowl 39.
Mm.
Um,
Should
but
be Matt Hasselback
yeah,
and yeah.
Matt Hasselback. And that was Ben Roethlisberger's rookie year. Um, Heinz Ward. Uh, who else was on that? Jerome Bettis, the bus,
Mm.
Detroit and St. Louis. Um, but I don't really remember the game. Like I remember
Yeah.
watching it, but I didn't understand the game yet.
Yeah, one of the first games I ever saw live was in St. Louis, and it was St. Louis versus the Royals baseball. I had the ticket stub. I remember like small bits and pieces. I remember
Mhm.
being in like because they have those like kid zones
Yeah.
in like ballparks.
Mhm.
I remember some of that. I do not remember anything of the game.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same boat. Whenever it comes to like stuff I can think about memory wise, I just keep thinking about just playing football in Quantico.
Mhm.
I mean, there was a point where me and this other kid, I say kid, but this other guy, his name was Brandon Buck, and I called him Shorty because he was short as fuck.
Mhm.
But like he was a pretty scrappy,
Yeah.
guy. He was kind of one of those guys that like was first kind of like pretty meek and like if he got a hit,
Mhm.
like ooh, going
Yeah.
down easy. But more and more he played, he got better and better. He was a
Mhm.
big Buffalo guy.
Yeah.
He loved the Sabres, he loved the Bills. Um, and then like we were just if we because we always did like kind of different teams.
Mhm.
He came to me and he was like, "Hey man, what if like we made a team that was like a set roster
Yeah.
for our people that played?" And I was like, "Well, what do you have in mind?" And
Mhm.
he was a big drawer, so he drew up like these shirts. He got like white shirts and he drew us like our own like little makeshift
Mhm.
jerseys. I had mine for the longest time. I don't know where. And maybe just between the moves, I was just like, do I
Yeah. It
really
got
need to be?
lost. Yeah.
Yeah, do I need to have this? But yeah, we were there. Oh, we were the Quantico Hawks, and
Mhm.
our color scheme was like red, black, and white.
Mhm.
Pretty basic,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was pretty good. And I remember we made it to like our version of the Super Bowl, and like so like we took it pretty serious for like
Yeah.
we
For a bunch of 11, 12-year-olds.
yeah,
Yeah.
like we made an all-star game like
Mhm.
where we kind of combined the
It's kind
teams
of cool
again.
though.
It was
Yeah.
pretty cool where and
It's
then
like it's
we
just a neighborhood thing. You get a bunch of the kids in the
because
neighborhood.
there was like three kind of neighborhoods. There's like two right next to each other, North Lyman
Mhm.
and East Lyman or West
Yeah.
Lyman. And I lived in West Lyman and then right across the street was North Lyman. And like we had a fierce rivalry
Yeah.
for no reason at
Yeah.
all. But
It's
we
like
always
Crips and Blood,
yeah,
but for
pretty much.
football.
But we whooped ass on them
Yeah.
every time. Um, and then when we did the Super Bowl, there was one guy named Vic, and I believe now he's like a personal trainer. I think he followed
Mhm.
me on Instagram. Super cool guy, super athletic,
Mhm.
always like very tall, skinny, fast,
Mhm.
athletic guy. And we had a few plays, like we went to basically overtime
Mhm.
in our Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and our quarterback, Sean Filson, who I don't know what he's doing now. Last
Mhm.
time I heard he got into like drugs and shit. But um first play, because so like overtime, we kicked it off to them. We
Mhm.
got like a 4 and out, and we were feeling really good
Yeah.
about it because I was like the manager captain, but
Mhm.
not like I wasn't the QB because I didn't have
Mhm.
a great arm, but I was a good run after catch guy and breaking
Yeah.
tackles. And first play, he wants to throw a screen to me, but he doesn't tell me he wants me to do a screen.
Yeah.
So I'm in man, like me and Victor are
Mhm.
less distance between you and I.
Yeah.
Like literally, like we're like nose to nose.
Yeah.
So my thought process is either try to
Break him.
outside
Yeah.
because Sean had a pretty good arm. He could kind of
Mhm.
loft it up there. But nope, he fucking quick huddle, quick snap, turns, rifles it over to
Yeah.
me. Who I'm not looking at him, and it was taken back for a pick six to win the game. And that was a short lived season for or
Yeah.
yeah, the careers of
Yeah.
the Quantico Hawks, but
Yeah.
I always just kind of think back and just like the creativity and
Hmm.
the imagination that we
Yeah.
all had, just like playing those stuff, and just back like we
Yeah.
fucking with Brandon, he we cut him up boxes of cardboard, and he made like a goalie for like hockey, because we
Hmm.
play like street hockey too
Yeah.
in the backyard, or in the there was like a
In the street. Yeah.
behind our houses there was like a basketball court
Yeah.
that had like a fenced off area, so we got like a couple sticks and tennis balls and recycling bins because they
Hmm.
were like square.
Yeah.
And yeah, he made himself goalie,
Yeah.
pads. So just like stuff like that I like
Yeah.
to think back to.
Those childhood memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot of pickup games. I played more like organized games is what my
Mm.
parents got me into.
I wish I only did like I did soccer for the longest time, and then like youth baseball.
Hmm.
And then once I got into middle school, I only did like 2 years of youth baseball because in Quantico it was so small. I think
Yeah.
I told
Yeah.
it on the
It was
story.
like only two
There's
teams.
only
Yeah.
two teams.
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah, for me, like the neighborhoods I grew up in, there was just not a lot of kids my age. It
mhm.
was either high school, off to college, or old people.
Yeah.
And so like there was like me and maybe one other kid in the neighborhood. And
Mm.
so like we just hung out all the time. Didn't really play sports. Maybe we played catch or something like that, or like I'd fuck them up in basketball because they were not basketball players.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so like I only ever got my sporting experience from organized sports, and then us playing pickup football was probably more fun for me than playing actual organized.
You're talking about when we did it.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
we did it, like
I got a lot of fun memories with that too.
yeah,
That's a lot of fun, man.
um, like my longest ever recorded official pass touchdown was a 70-yard screen. So like I threw the screen to Glockfelty,
Oh yeah.
and he just ran it for 70 yards.
Yeah, but man, Glockfelty was
Yeah, but my longest throwing pass, like in the air, was
mm,
with Tom, and it was when we
mm,
played those kids. We'd
the
already played like
yeah.
3 games in a row, and
You don't need to make it sound like punks.
like
Let's
we'd already played 3 games in a row, and the
We
middle
didn't have
school,
like it was like you, me, Tom,
yeah,
Josh, Aaron,
we
Ethan.
didn't have like our star-studded cast like we normally did.
No.
Um, but the middle school just let out that we were playing at, and these kids were they ended up all becoming varsity freshman year for like their respective schools that they went to.
Mm-hmm.
So like we got our asses fucking whooped by like actual football players.
I'd say we got our asses whooped. Like I don't even remember losing that bad,
It was like one touchdown maybe.
but I do remember like there was that big guy,
Yeah,
the eighth grader that was probably like
that
six
became
five,
yeah,
like 300
that
pounds.
ended up becoming an all-state lineman. Yeah,
Yeah, like he was doing some fucking hate on people. Like
yeah.
I remember, I think
It was the
what
first
they
play. Ethan
first
Thompson
he
runs
actually
up against him.
wait, did he get kicked? Did we kick it off to him, or did they kick it
I
off
think
to
they kicked it up
us?
to us, and Ethan
And
Thompson just
he
ran
ran
straight
straight
at
to
him.
him. Didn't try to. And
It
I
was
think
two
even,
big guys.
and I think even, dude, the noise
The
that the fat
noise.
like and the like fucking reverberated.
Yeah,
I was like, was he just trying to set a tone? Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna let these fucking kids
yeah,
fucking, and then no fucking, and then
yeah.
boom, fucking on Ethan.
Well, I remember one of them set up a good off the ball block on Aaron, and
Aaron
it
wasn't even looking.
yeah, Aaron wasn't
Wasn't even
looking.
looking.
It was like a complete
It
blindside,
was the
but
same
it
big
sounded like
guy.
it really sounded like there was pads on the field. The way Aaron got hit.
And but what Aaron literally, I remember seeing Aaron like in air,
Yeah, got
like
in air
swept off
lifted.
his
Yeah,
feet, and I'm just what did, I think a couple weeks before I was,
you would hurt your ankle, so you were on your
but
boot.
I wasn't actually playing in that black medical
Yeah,
boot. What I did is I took like the ROTC boots that we were
yeah,
issued, and I tied them up really tight,
yeah,
and I was playing in those.
yeah. But that was when I had the 70-yard bomb to Tom,
Mm,
and we were only playing a 50-yard field with 10-yard end zones.
yeah.
Um, and I got rushed on the right hand side pretty quickly, so I rolled out, was running, saw Tom screaming across the field. He beat his defender, he beat the safety, like got behind him, and I just see him screaming. I line up on the left hand side out of bounds line, and I just perfect straight pass through the air to Tom with a diving catch in the corner of the end zone.
No, I don't remember Tom diving. I remember Tom catching it, and then he was kind of backpedaling, and they shoved him.
Oh, he didn't dive? Oh,
No, I remember him getting shoved, and Tom kind of like stood up, like, man, fuck you,
yeah.
like.
Because I remember I got hit quickly after throwing that. So,
Mm,
like, I just saw him on the ground, so I thought he went for a diving. But,
no, no, yeah.
um,
He was kind of backpedaling, catches it, and then he got shoved.
okay.
I
But,
remember the one you always talked about when we were playing, and I would like the bear paw. I would just
yeah.
like reach across, grab him by the chest, and
Yeah.
just fucking
And
throw
rip.
him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look back to like not all the offensive plays I did, but the more defensive
Dude,
plays.
me and you on defense,
Hmm.
lethal fucking package.
Yeah, I mean, especially like because a lot of the kids couldn't really do open field tackling. They'd
Yeah.
either get like juked or
Hmm.
whatever. Someone had to grab
Yeah.
hold of them, and the other people had to. But like
Yeah.
you and me could easily
Yeah.
grab hold and fucking get them
Drag him
down.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we always played against the same team. It was kind of like just two teams, but
There's some times where
there
like
was intermingling of different players.
yeah,
But
like there's that one big dude who always smelled super bad. I remember there was one time like I tackled him and I was like, ugh.
yeah, you pretty much the clothes smelled bad for a
Yeah,
while.
and you're like,
Um,
what the fuck, dude?
like, do you know how to shower?
Yeah, it's like why the
Um,
fuck do I smell like that
yeah.
now?
Um, yeah, like us on defense, like if there was blockers, there was no time rush. But if there wasn't blockers, you was like a time rush or something like that.
Mm,
And like they would sometimes bring in blockers and then they just end up fucking themselves. And then other times where there's just like he was just by himself in the backfield
yeah,
and like either you or I would fucking fake the rush. He'd start running the other way and just okay, cool, easy fucking
because
pressure on
I
the
think
defense.
you were probably like an ideal middle linebacker,
Mhm.
and I was, I mean, preferably a lineman, but if I had
Yeah,
to break back and do some
yeah,
fucking
some
lineman
yeah.
shit, I think what do they use? Is that used to be like a nose guard? Isn't that what that was kind of the
I think it
job in
is.
the nose guard?
Yeah,
I gotta fucking.
nose guard or defensive
Can
tackle.
you fucking riff for a while? I gotta use.
Yeah, so yeah, for us, we were fucking demolishing on defense. Pretty much, we would put consistent pressure on him. We'd either disrupt passes or we get the sack pretty easily, especially if they had blockers. I'm gonna go to one that like we played flag football with the army, and we were doing 11 on 11. I don't know why we're doing it. We're doing it by platoon, but no one knew how to fucking block or pass rush, except on my team at least. So me being like one of the bigger guys, like fuck it, like even though I'd rather play a skill position, I will fucking hold the line and block. And I remember getting so many fucking sacks in that flag football game, or just causing disruption on the pass. And I played like 4 games in a row, and my quads were fucking shot. I had not played a full like pickup game or anything like that in a long fucking time. I think it'd been 5 years or so playing a pickup game of football, and so like my body, it was like the Family Guy, where it's like, is he trying to run right now? Where he's playing baseball and he's sprinting towards first base. Like, has he had any water at all? Nope. All right, cool. It's like he's trying to. He told Lois that um the hot dogs had juices that will hydrate him. Wait, yeah, that's pretty much how it felt for me. Like I was just dead to the world playing that fucking pickup game. And we've been talking about trying to do some pickup games here soon. Now that the weather's getting nice, and I'm sitting there like, dude, I need to fucking start running, stretching more often if we're gonna be fucking doing this shit. Like the other day, I was running around with Jules, the star of the show, out back, just like working on fucking pick up and go really quickly. And it's not the same as I was when I was a kid. Um, are you good in there, Matt? Are you pooping?
Yeah.
God damn it! All right, well, I'm just gonna close it out then.
Hold up, man, coming out.
Okay, because we've been going for about a half hour, and we're said only 15 minutes. But yeah, um, okay, he's flushing. Oh, quick poop.
No.
Did you even wipe?
Yeah, why?
Okay.
Why the fuck are you asking that question lately?
Sure.
Stupid ass question. You wipe? No, man, I thought I'd sit here with a shitty ass for the rest of this freaking video.
um, Thank you guys for joining us on this first episode of like
Wait, you brought me
stories.
back just to ask me that question and you're ending it?
Motherfucker, it's already been 30 minutes. I said I'm just gonna close it out.
Whatever, go on.
We said we were only gonna do 15, 20 minutes, and we
Yeah,
went a
we
full
did.
10
We
minutes
did.
over. Yeah.
But I thought you were rushing me out of there.
No.
Okay.
Alright. Thank you guys for coming for a first stories / interviews podcast. Not video, I guess we can say. We want to make this like its own individual series and not like the.
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
every once in a while, we don't need to do this every week. We've run
Yeah.
out of stories.
It's just like, yeah.
But I mean, I haven't even talked about some of the jujitsu stuff that I've been through because,
Yeah.
like, some of those stories are pretty funny.
Well, I also have some from the army where like we're
Yeah.
learning some.
Mm.
But yeah, so this is the first episode of this series. I am Matt Heavy, joined by my co-host Matty Heavy. I said, wait.
I thought you were trying to switch it up. I was
I'm
Matty Heavy with Matty Heavy.
I am retarded. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't play pickup games again. We'll just cause more CT.
All right, we should go.
I am Matty Light, joined by my co-host Matty Heavy. This has been the first episode of the series. All right, bye.
Did you even catch you saying that?
I did afterwards. I said it twice.